I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. Stupid video. Since 1939, Batman has had his trusty Batmobile by his side for all his encounters with supervillains. And since 2008, I've been a generational glazer of the Dark Knight, sometimes even asking my own mother to call me Bruce. But despite my unnecessarily vast knowledge of Batman lore, to this day one question lingers. Is Bruce Wayne a coyote guy? Perhaps he prefers the LS, or maybe even he's a bigger loser than I thought and likes the Hemi. Regardless, today we're going to take a look at the majority of his Batmobiles and figure out which engines are in each one. Please don't be a Hemi. Batman's first ever appearance was in Detective Comics issue number 27. Along with his reveal, we also technically got a Batmobile. It wasn't even really mentioned as the Batmobile until 1941, and this was literally just a red car. Still, it set a precedent and we should discuss it. This car was based on the Cord 812 convertible, which came out in 1937, and considering the Cape Crusader didn't even bother painting it black, I highly doubt he took the time to modify the engine in any way. In one comic panel, we see that this is a supercharged model, meaning it had the Lycoming V8. This engine boasted a roaring 170 horsepower. Congratulations, Prius owners, you basically have a Batmobile. The first live-action Batman appearance was monumental in the 40s. Kids would spend their whole day huffing asbestos and then come home to see their favorite hero driving around in a 1949 Mercury convertible. The budget for this show was understandably really small, and therefore the show worked it in that Batman and Robin just drove around Bruce Wayne's cars everywhere. I don't know how they expected to not get their identities exposed, but this was probably just one of the actors' cars and they saved money by doing this. This Batmobile was a downgrade from the previous one and showed off a flathead Ford V8 engine pushing 110 horsepower. This may be measly, but we're moving in the right direction of Bruce Wayne being a coyote guy. Next up, we have the ultimate campy Batmobile. Batman 1966 was a really beloved show by the youth of that time. It was flashy, fun, and the first taste of real translation between comic books and TV. This time the budget was clearly upped a bit, and the show opted for a completely customized 1955 Lincoln Futura concept car. Another Ford, we are so back. This was a real car and was pretty much 100% functional, minus the giant afterburner in the back. The real car possessed a big boy 390 cubic inch 6.4 liter V8 producing approximately 330 horsepower. This seems really impressive, but if you watch my previous video, you know around this time, automakers were gaming the system on horsepower numbers big time. Regardless, it's our most powerful Batmobile so far in the first case of Batman flashiness, so it deserves a spot on this list. The 1989 and returns Batmobile. If I can just be frank for a second, fly me to the... This may just be my favorite one. It's so beautiful and stylish, and thankfully doesn't have many extra colors that just logically don't make sense for Batman to put on his car. The Burton Batmobile was built on two 1967 Chevy Impala chassis that were welded together, and the top body was made out of a C3 Corvette. You can definitely still see some of the Vet under the heavy modifications in its body lines. As for the engine, never mind, I hate this car. It uses a stupid 5.7 liter Chevy V8 in the front, and although it's just a prop, it's fun to know it has a real Rolls-Royce jet turbine in the back. This Batmobile was totally functional and had a 0 to 60 of 3.7 seconds. That's a tenth of a second slower than a Hellcat. Pretty impressive for a stupid Chevy engine. Now, it would be a crime to make this video without mentioning the Batmobile from the animated series. Unfortunately, there's literally no information on what it was based on or what engine it would have, so put me in jail. Batman Forever saw the Burton Batmobile get a flashy upgrade with a bunch of lights, and at this point you might as well call him Disco Man or something, because what the hell is this? I understand it's so they can make flashy toys that kids love and make a bunch of money, but that doesn't detract from the fact that this car literally sucks. Sadly, I still want to mention it because it is special in its own way. It was the first Batmobile that was completely designed and built from scratch. In fact, it cost $2.5 million to make the mold alone. It also came with a 25-gallon propane tank in the back that was capable of shooting real 30-foot flames out the exhaust. This would be cool if the absolute losers didn't stick a Chevy 350 ZZ3 engine in the front. All jokes aside, the ZZ3 is actually an excellent crate motor that I've even considered as a swap for my 3rd gen Camaro. It has a very respectable 345 horsepower, which only becomes more exciting when you realize this Batmobile was built from epoxy fiberglass laminate, making it pretty damn light. Shame it looks like a Twinkle Toes shoe in car form. As much as I hate the last Batmobile, I despise this one. I have a soft spot for this movie because it was the one disc in my dad's car when I was little, and I used to watch it on literally every drive. Still, I maintain journalistic integrity and think this Batmobile should never ever be seen in a good light. The production designer Barbara Ling stated that she didn't feel the previous Batmobile had enough presence, and as a result, this was the longest Batmobile ever at 30 feet long and was based on old racing roadsters like the Jaguar D-Type and the Delahaye 165. Once again, they used the Chevy ZZ3 in this bad boy, and to be fair, it tested to 140 miles per hour. For the next 8 years, this would be the last Batmobile we got to see, and it left a sour taste in our mouths. In 2003, my glorious Christopher Nolan came to Warner Brothers to make a more grounded and down-to-earth Batman. This made fans speculate, what is this scarf-wearing man hiding up the sleeve of his trench coat? The answer came in the form of leaks in 2004, and Batman fans were exposed to the utilitarian tank nicknamed the Tumbler. Nolan described this car, if you can call it that, as a mix between a Lamborghini and a tank. Boy, I sure am curious what engine it has. The vehicle was designed and built by a team in Britain and was made of various parts from cars, boats, and planes. It's actually kind of funny, this car is literally a little bit of this, a little bit of that car. Believe it or not, this car was incredibly functional and even was heavily stress tested by an aircraft company to make sure it could withstand various stunts. Unbelievably, Nolan made the best Batman film and made the best real-life version of the Batmobile. It seems like this is the perfect car. Let me just check what engine it... Are you kidding me? An LS3! You're telling me stupid Camaro owners are basically driving a Batmobile? That is so heartbreaking, I'm gonna be sick. I'll swallow my feelings and mention that this is still pretty damn cool because all of these specs are based off of real tumblers. The engineers of the movie versions are making 10 real ones which you can buy via allocations, and they all have the same specs I've just mentioned. Their stupid LS3 is supercharged, pushing 525 horsepower and 486 pound-feet of torque. It's also paired to a GM transmission, and I can't even be mad, dude. Imagine putting an MT82 in there. By the way, the real one costs $3 million. I mean, I might buy 4 on some nonchalant type stuff. I don't even want to discuss the Batman v Superman Batmobile. First of all, it killed like 700 dudes, and I don't care how much Zack Snyder propaganda I've been subjected to, I'm not a fan of Batman killing. At least the mainline one. Worse than that, this Batmobile is completely CGI. For every shot, they used 2 Dodge Ram dualies and just reconstructed the Batmobile over them using CGI. There was one real model built, but it wasn't really functional and considered too expensive to destroy. So, take that as you will about this movie as a whole. There aren't any known specs of this Batmobile, and that's fine by me because I'm grumpy and I don't like it. Finally, we arrive at the movie that created more edits than LeBron and more emo boys than My Chemical Romance, The Batman 2022. Despite this movie being fantastic on its own, it also had the perfect Batmobile for what it was. This movie was set as Bruce's 2nd year being Batman, therefore he shouldn't have all the resources Bale's Batman has, or all the amenities of Batfleck. The result is this perfect muscle car looking half-exposed monster that by the looks of it is a manual. Although they're not disclosing what the actual car is based on, in my opinion it is very clearly resembling a 1970 Charger. He's so based for that. KBB has an entire article on it, which is pretty fun, and apparently Bruce drove this car in its stock form as a teenager. The production team is really hush-hush about the crate engine, but claim it has a twin-turbo V8 that's good for 700 horsepower. Interestingly, they made one other version of the car with Tesla Model S motors in it, making it easier for them to capture audio when filming. The combustion versions were in fact paired with a manual transmission, which I assumed because although it's not confirmed, I'm pretty sure he stalls it when it's first revealed, which is pretty funny. He's literally me. And would you look at that? Together, we spent a portion of our day learning about Batman engines. I hope all you guys and the 3 girls that watch my videos enjoyed, and as always, have a good one.
Tag what I'm wearing on the gram on some cash shit. You better not click on this link, you can't cash this. Steak hibachi when I'm out, told the waiter add shrimp. Jeff a ball hog with the wood, he won't pass it. I put it on me, I'll send dog to Jesus Christ. My shooter pulling up at dark so you can see the light. I'm getting it for free, I don't gotta see the price. Tough on the phone, but that's alright, we gon' see tonight. Tuck the V's in the bed, I can't sleep alone. Can't trust the sauce when it's beef, I'm gon' creep alone. Bro, shoot your crib up even if your people's home.